Are you aware of any connection at any time between your brother Charlie and any gang members?
No.
Did your brother use drugs?
He did, yeah.
What type of drugs did he use?
Marijuana.
Okay, what else?
I don't know of anything else.
Okay. And do you know where he got the drugs from that he used?
I don't.
Okay. Was he a recreational marijuana user or was he a drug dealer?
I would say he was a recreational marijuana user.
Okay. Was this something he did every day or just occasionally?
I don't know how often. I don't know if it was every day, but I do know the pain of the last few years has led him to do some self-medicating. I really don't remember.
But you do remember dropping the bomb on him, don't you? Telling him that you wanted a divorce.
So I did not drop a bomb on him. We'd been in therapy for several months beforehand where I told him several times I wanted a divorce.
You found out after that your brother had done this and gone behind your back. That's why you were thrown up at that dinner, right?
No, it's not.
Y'all, Wendi Adelson has been at the center of public suspicion since almost day one of the situation, okay? And she has testified in numerous trials. Now, what we're going to be doing in today's video is we're going to be looking at a plethora of these trials and comparing her answers over the years to just see what is consistent, what's not consistent, how much knowledge she brings forth, etc., and how much knowledge she can't remember. Now, for those who are curious about who's Wendi, what's this case, what are we talking about today, Paul? Well, let's do a little quick overview. So Wendi Adelson is the ex-wife of Dan Markel. This was the Florida State law professor. He was murdered in 2014. Now, Wendi, to this date, is September 25th, 2025, has never been charged in connection with the crime. Like I said, her name is central to the case from day one. Now, the prosecutors say that the murder was a family conspiracy and it was tied to this bitter custody battle between Wendi and Dan. Now, she would testify in her brother Charlie Adelson's trial, as well as her mother Donna's, as well as a couple of the hitmen and whatnot connected with this, and even like a retrial for one of them, Catherine. Now, she would give the jury an inside look at the Adelson family dynamics. However, even while doing that on the stand, she would downplay her knowledge, but that didn't seem to matter. Her words, the recordings played in court, all of it has been the center of public suspicion and speculation. So like I said, we're going to look at a few different videos here. So go ahead, buckle up, get your coffee cup because you're going to need it for this one in today's video.
Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey.
Now hold on everybody, let's do a quick sofa sidebar now. Keep in mind, ain't no cop, ain't no doctor, ain't no lawyer, ain't no therapist, ain't none of that fancy credentialed stuff, okay? Only credentials we got up in here is my sass, and this sofa. Now keep in mind also, I'm just giving my opinions on very public information, so do your own research, come to your own opinions, and drop them off in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you do like what you see here at the Sofa Squad, drop a little like, drop a little comment, drop a little share. It helps the channel out immensely. Now let's get edition. Hello, the Sofa Squad, and welcome back to the sofa. We got a pleather sofa, and we got a pleather Paul. My name is Paul if you're new to the channel, and if you're not new to the channel, my name is still Paul. Okay. Now, we already talked about what we're getting into, so let's jump into those first clips. So the first ones we're gonna look at are centered around the TV repair appointment. If you're unfamiliar with what this is, on the day of Dan Markel's murder, Wendi Adelson was getting a TV repaired. This television was purchased by her brother, Charlie. He had made numerous jokes about,
it's cheaper to buy you a TV than a hitman.
Well, Donna, the mother, was seemingly in charge of getting the repair sent to the house, this, that, and the other. And even Wendy's ex, Jeff, would say in interviews a lot of interesting things about the television and the actual damage that was done to it. But let's go ahead and listen to a few clips, hear what Wendi has to say about it. I will stop and add some commentary throughout these clips, so let's just dive in.
Did Charlie Adelson like Dan Markel? And again, I'm referring to the time frame before his death.
I mean, I think he was also, he would listen to me when I would tell him about things I was upset about at the time with the divorce. So whether he liked him or didn't like him, he certainly was supportive of me.
Okay, but he never expressed any dislike?
No.
Okay, so this, I believe, is Charlie's trial that she's testifying in. Now, I wanted to put that in because you're like, what does that have to do with the TV, Paul? Well, I'm going to tell you. Georgia, who is the prosecutor interviewing her, questioning her, is working up to that question. Now, notice how Wendi in this one says, no, he never really said anything. Well, we've heard the phone calls. We've seen the text messages. We've seen the emails. Of course, Charlie absolutely hated Dan. Why did Charlie hate Dan? My opinion is because ultimately Donna didn't want it. And therefore, Charlie was on the same team too. And it was like a control thing or whatever. It was just their latest thing to do. So I digress. Let's keep going.
Did he ever joke about he looked into hiring a hitman, but buying you a TV as a divorce present would be cheaper?
He did make that joke. He tended to repeat himself, and sometimes he would make jokes that weren't very funny about all kinds of things.
All right. And was that TV, did he buy you a TV as a divorce present?
He did.
And was that TV the same TV that was being repaired at your residence at the time that your husband was murdered?
It was.
Who made the arrangements for that TV repair?
I did.
Your mom didn't make those arrangements?
I don't believe so.
And the repairman was at your house that morning that your husband died between 8:30 and 9:15. Do you agree with that?
I remember he was supposed to come between 8 and noon, and then he ended up coming on the early side.
Okay, now key points for this clip here. I made the things. Your mom didn't do that? I don't think so. Now, I will give Wendi's credit where credit is due. I do believe a part of the story where she is saying, and we'll get to it here in a minute, about how Donna was called and whatnot and why the Geek Squad reached out to Donna first. I do believe that Wendi called and did the thing and that they contacted her. However, what I think that went down with the television is the television repair was a cover. And I think it went down something like this. And I'm making this up. This is just a reenactment, but pretend it's not a...
Wendi, it's your mother. You never called, but that's beside the point right now. Listen, you've got to get that TV repaired. The one that's broken? Yes, the broken television. Next Thursday between 8 and 12, okay? Comprende? Thank you. Call me more often, you ungrateful daughter.
Something like that. Probably the most accurate part was her saying she never called. But I digress again. So let's go ahead and listen to the next clip. Now, this is from Catherine Magbanua's retrial. Catherine Magbanua was Charlie's girlfriend and the connection to the hitman. So let's see what Wendi had to say in this one.
I don't think it was very old, just a couple of years.
Well, it was given to you as a divorce present at the time of your divorce, right? In 12?
Right, so it wasn't that the TV was old. I think one of the kids had thrown something at the screen, so it cracked it.
Okay, but the fix was done in 14, or the attempted fix.
The attempted fix was in 14.
Now, if you recall or if you've watched or if not, I'm getting ready to tell you. Jeff Lacoste did several interviews. I did a video on it, and True Crime Matrix has the unedited version. And sorry, Bo, he's wanted to play and whatnot. He's a little bit restless. But what I'm getting at is Jeff would say when he saw the TV, he was like, there's no way a kid did this. It looked like a grown adult punched the TV. Like, you know, it was broken. He's like, my first thing seeing it, and remember, he wasn't trying to connect the dots during this. This is happening in real time for him. But his initial thought was, I don't believe that a kid did this. I don't know what happened, but an adult did this. So again, you hear Wendi, oh no, I think one of the kids maybe tapped it or touched it or, blah, 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 blah. Let's continue to listen to what she has to say during Catherine Magbanua's trial.
You said you did not recall your mom making that appointment, but was it usual or typical for your mom to get involved in that type of minutia of your daily life?
No.
It would be unusual if she did that.
I mean, it would not be unusual for her to try to help me with various things. So it doesn't sound out of the realm of possibility, but I remember distinctly setting it up for that morning of sometime, like when you wait for a repairman to come, they come in a window, they say between 9 and 1. I remember there being a window they had told me.
And do you remember the specific window in this case?
I keep thinking it was 8 to 12, but I don't know if that's correct.
So this is the part that I do believe is true. I do believe that Wendi probably set this up and that Geek Squad called Donna. But I also think what the unspoken thing is here with this family and with all of them is, yes, Donna was heavily involved in what Wendi was doing. And so even though Wendi's like, well, you heard her say, well, she's, not controlling, but likes to, be very involved in my life and this, that, and the other. Donna couldn't help herself. So Donna was going to sit there and be
They're on the way, Wendi. Make sure you're there. Don't go nowhere, Wendi. The TV repair has landed.
You know, she was putting herself into the middle of it. And so they did go and call the number that was on file or whatever because Wendi says that, you know, they bought the TV and it was in the policy or whatever was in her mom's name. It makes sense. It checks out. And this is the part that I'm like, I don't think Wendi would lie about this because it would probably be easily found out. So that being said, I do think that part's true. But again, with the Adelsons, so much is unspoken. And I think the unspokenness is the divisive thing of what was going on, which was creating an alibi for Wendi.
And we made kind of a last minute plan to have lunch. And then I had a few errands to run before I met them. So I did that. I picked up gas. I picked up something I needed for a party that night. And then I went to meet my friends for lunch.
Okay, now this is during the same questioning about what took place that day and when she left. Now, what Georgia is saying, like, did you know, what happened after the repairman left, et cetera, et cetera. And you heard Wendi say, oh, I had to run pick up some stuff. Now, Wendi went to the alcohol store to get something, right? I forget, I don't even know what kind it was, but she was going to get some substances from the alcohol store. Now, we've heard from other people, and we've heard from a couple of Sofa Squad members who live in the area, one specifically who lives in the neighborhood that Wendi was living in. And she told me firsthand of, look, where Wendi went to go get this and where she was going to meet her friends, like basically like where Wendi was going to meet her friends, there's an alcohol store there. She could have easily gone there. Wendi had to go completely out of her way to go to the store that she said she went to, but also this enabled Wendi to drive by the crime scene. So essentially there's no reason why Wendi should have gone to the location that she went to, right? But again, you see where she's been, oh, I went to the store, I have a receipt, and you know, and I went to the store. It all on the surface level tidies up to make a cute little picture, but there's way more going on beneath the surface.
I don't remember that.
Why would your mom have been involved in your TV repair appointment?
Because I didn't purchase the TV. The TV was a gift that my brother paid for, but my mom went and got it and he reimbursed her. So the contract would have been under her name and her number. So when the repair guy was coming, they may have called or texted the number on the account instead of my number.
Okay.
Now you see Wendi bobbing the head and that little scrunch that she gets, and here you hear the greater story. So now we're at Charlie's trial and she's finessed the story more. Well, they probably did this and that and the other and blah, 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 blah. So you see, and what she's saying makes sense. I'm not trying to say she's lying about this specific part, but what I want to point out is you see how much more polished. Now, again, Wendi over time could have put two and two together and figured this out and been like, oh, this, or the other, or her mother could have helped her out with this, right? And been like,
Well, you know, Wendi, I mean, here's the thing. The TV was, you know, it was this. They called me. I'm just trying to help you out.
look at all this fuss over a TV, right? Probably a $200 TV, okay? It's not like back in the day when these flat screens came out, they were crazy, you know, whatever. All this rigmarole over this television for these people who have tons of money. Now, again, I get it where it's like, Paul, that could be completely normal, and I understand that. And I could see the Adelsons going through this drama over a television, but it's also just a very convenient alibi. Now let's look at Wendi in the most recent trial, her mother's trial.
On the morning of the murder, did you have an appointment at your residence on Aqua Ridge?
I did.
What was the nature of that appointment?
I had an appointment with the Geek Squad. There were some vertical lines on the TV. I didn't know if maybe one of my kids had tapped it or touched it, but it wasn't working. And so I had an appointment, and they were scheduled to come sometime between 8 and 12.
And was that the TV that was the same TV that your brother joked he got you as a divorce present because
It was.
cheaper than hiring a hitman?
Yes.
Okay. And on the morning of the murder, did your mom text you about the TV repair guy being on the way or coming to your house?
She did. I didn't buy the TV, and the TV had an insurance policy that came with the Geek Squad help. So I think they reached out to her first, and then she let me know that they were coming.
You can already hear the phone call. The TV repairman is on his way. Stay home. TV repairman is just another word for the situation's getting ready to pop off. But Wendi has made sure to really protect herself from that. Now, again, you see the final testimony of this. It's, yep, I got it from the Geek Squad. Like, she knows what to spout out. And again, some of that could be legitimate because she's done this numerous times at this point, right? Now, let's move on to another line of questioning. Now, this is going to be in relation to when do Dan's parents get to see the kids?
Markel's parents see the boys, is that correct?
2 years after Danny died, I stopped visitation.
Okay. Do you have any intention of letting them see their grandchildren again?
I do. We've actually been in discussion the last few weeks.
Okay, now let's listen to another version.
How many times have Dan's parents been able to see your boys in the last 5 years?
In the last 2 years after they died, they've been able to see them every time they've asked to see them.
Okay, what about the last 3 years?
Since 2016, they have not been permitted to see the boys.
They have not been permitted
That's right.
by you.
By me, yes.
Right, and that's not through lack of trying on their part.
No, that's because of what they did.
Okay, but they want to see those boys, don't
They
they?
very much want to see the boys.
All right.
I think she gets pleasure and said they very much want to see them. I'm not allowing it. You know, again, these are two different trials. But the first one, and again, different timing. When Wendi says, in the first one, the 2 year thing, then in the second clip where she's like, she almost tries to go back to her former answer and correct Georgia, where Georgia's like, how much time in the last 5 years have they seen the boys? Well, in the first 2 years, and it's like, okay, cute answer. What about the last 3 years? Oh, well, the last 3 years. And she's very chest out. Well, no, they haven't seen them after what they did. After what they did. I'm going to make sure of that. So let's go to another one.
You were asked about the reason why you stopped contact for a period of time between your ex-husband's parents and your children.
Yes.
And you referenced a letter that you characterized as the grandparents threatening to put the children into foster care. Is that an email that was sent from the Markels, to my office?
Yes.
Okay. And that was in reference to, in the event that you and the people that care for these children, who at the time were very young, were arrested, that the grandparents wanted to make sure, because they live in Canada, right?
They do.
They wanted to make sure that a specific organization could be contacted to care for the children, so that someone was there to care for them until a relative could get there.
I don't
Right?
remember the bit about a relative getting there.
Okay, well, they weren't just going to leave them in foster care, right?
I don't know.
So you hear the event, which is the Markels, which the Markels, if I'm correct, and y'all can correct me in the comment section, were basically wanting a specific type place to hold the kids until they could get there to get the children, right? This was nowhere intended of they're just going to sit here and rot in foster care. It was like, we want this specific agency because of A, B, and C to hold on to the children, to give us time to get there and get them should something happen. Well, Wendi uses this as a threat, and I think this is what the family does. Remember, Donna and Charlie and them, they all think they got away with this, right? So this is just the next battle. I don't know why anyone would choose to go head to head, toe to toe over this custody thing. Because like, now Dan's out of the way. You have custody of the children. Well, now we're fighting his parents. So much destruction and death needlessly, right? Now there's a reason for it over this. And I'm just like, it blows my mind. But you see how Wendi works. You see how she's utilized the situation. And when I also say how Wendi works, I'm also talking about, by extension, her family, because I think that that's just what they do. I think they all got a hold of that. And her mother was like,
Oh, no, absolutely not. She is trying to put the children in foster care. It's terrible. Wendi, she needs a TV repair. She needs a grandbaby piano.
Bo's like, it's too early for this. Now let's jump back to that TV repairman and what he had to say about Wendi and what she says at different intervals in time.
The repairman, you're familiar with his statement that you seemed really upset that day. What were you upset about?
I have no idea.
Were you upset that day?
I don't remember being, oh, yes, I was upset that day. I was upset. I remember Danny wanted to take the kids swimming and I wanted to pick them up earlier in the day.
Okay,
And
so nothing to do with the TV.
I don't think so. I probably wasn't that upset about the TV.
Now, I imagine that many days were spent like this of just drama, right? Just drama of, oh, you won't believe what Danny wants to do. He's a horrible father. He wants to take him to swimming. How can we thwart that? And I really think that that's how the majority of her day was. If you recall, Surviving the Survivor interviewed Dan Markel's divorce attorney, and he kind of spilled the tea on what he thinks the motive was, which was Wendi committed fraud, and they were filing a motion to kind of expose this, and it was going through on the day that Dan was killed. But that being said, he was like, you know what, when I took this case on, it became clear to me that Dan's major concern was time with the children, and Wendi, aka the Adelsons' major concern was money, and that was it.
The TV repair guy, well, I guess I should ask, were you upset, crying and upset during the time that the TV repairman was there?
I don't think so.
Were you particularly upset about the TV, the fact that the TV couldn't be repaired?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the TV guy, to your recollection, didn't actually do anything. He didn't fix the TV, didn't take it away, didn't bring you a new one.
No. He was trying to fix it. I mean, I think he was trying to assess what the problem was and if it could be fixed, but it wasn't taken away.
So this time we don't know. I wasn't upset. I don't remember that. Now this could be inconsequential because remember, this is years apart. So, I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt there. But also it's these little nuggets of that because she was probably upset because she was stressed because she knew what was going on. Okay, now a huge one is this. How long was she in Tallahassee after Dan was killed? Now, Wendi, you'll hear on the stand, oh, I had a great life in Tallahassee, this, that, and the other. Behind the scenes, including Jeff, her ex who testified, she hated Tallahassee. She did nothing but talk ish about it all the time. She hated this place, Let's hear what she has to say in a couple of the trials.
How long did you stay in Tallahassee after your husband was killed? Ex-husband, sorry.
Stayed a couple of days. And then after I had asked the police for protection at the funeral or in my home and they refused, I decided to just go for a couple of days and spend a few days away from Tallahassee. And then this case hit CNN and hit the media. And I
don't mean to interrupt you, but the question was, how long did you stay in Tallahassee after your husband was killed?
I'm sorry, Ms. Kappelman. I stayed for a few days.
Thank you.
Couldn't get out of there fast enough. I'm talking spraying damn gravel. And that part right there talking about, I asked the police for protection of the house and the funeral. Were they going to guard you from Charlie and Donna? Cannot roll my damn eyes hard enough. I'm doing my credentials cup today, but sipping from the damn cup is on that one now. And then she wants to go and blame. Well, then the news thing hits CNN. I mean, it was for the children's safety. We just had to stay in Florida, down in South Florida.
I took a weekender for both the boys and me and thought I would be back pretty quickly.
Did you come back?
I did come back a few times, but
just to get things though, right?
Not really to get things. I came back a couple of times to give a talk or to do some work, but
okay. But what I'm interested in is, where were you living after the murder?
I wasn't living in Tallahassee.
Now, see, we have all this, different trial, different answer. There's no getting around the fact that once Dan was dead, gone. Now let's listen to what Wendi has to say about her mother being overprotective in several of the trials. I'm not a Wendi fan by any means, if you follow me, but I do try and play middle of the road here, or how do you say it, middle of the fence, or what I'm saying, look at both sides or whatever. I feel like some of this is awkward in her answers, and just kind of prep your mind for this when we watch it, because it's almost like she's being asked stuff that she's going to give an answer to that she's going to hear back on. Almost like this,
Wendi? Hello, this is the Leon County Police Department. We have an inmate call for you.
I know I messed that up.
Wendi, it's your mother. I heard you in trial today. You said I was overprotective. Well, guess what? That overprotectiveness got you those babies. You're not getting anything in the will now. Harvey Ryder out of them want free dental care.
She would hear about this, right? And I think the same thing was when she talked to Charlie, or not when she talked to Charlie, when they were like, does Charlie do the marijuanas? And she was like, oh my God, yes. It was almost like she was embarrassed and like, I can't believe, yes. You know, almost like, I'm going to hear about this later.
How dare you ruin your brother's good name on that stand?
Yeah, they act like they're just the creme de la creme people, right? I don't care how much money these people have. We're talking bottom of the barrel type people, right? Okay, we're talking scraping the bottom. These are the kind of people that think because they have money, it makes them better than, if that makes sense. But their morals and like what makes you a human is so messed up and skewed. And it's like, honey, you can dress all that ish up in Gucci or millions of dollars, whatever. It's still nothing but a pile of ish, right? And just gross people. And that to me is what the Adelsons are.
Is it fair to say that your mother, Donna Adelson, was following these divorce proceedings pretty closely?
She was definitely being a little bit over involved. Yeah.
She was pretty invested in your personal life. Is that fair to say?
She is one of those moms, yes.
She's one of those moms. It's like, oh, honey, no, this is a whole different category right here. We've heard the evidence. This isn't, but again, to Wendi, it might be normal, right? I don't know. But it's like Donna's behavior, and I'm not talking about the murderous part, but just how all up in everything Donna was with Wendi, that is abnormal to me, right? That is just like, why are you treating this grown woman like she's 13 years old? You know, it's bizarre.
Is it fair to say your mother is a controlling person?
I think my mom is and was very invested in my life. I don't think of her as a controlling person.
Is it fair to say around the time of your divorce that your mom did not like Dan Markel?
I think that's fair to say. I think she was very disappointed by the way he treated me.
Now, that's what I'm talking about, where Wendy's like, I'm going to call her controlling, because again, it's just like, even with her being in jail, she's going to hear about that. And Wendi might not view it as controlling, where what could be controlling to one person is not controlling to another. It's a concerned parent or whatever. And it's just like, oh, honey, you know, good parents don't kill your spouses, right? That's just not a thing.
That is what she said, yes.
All right. Is your mom overprotective of you?
Yes.
All right. And is it fair to say she's, a little on the controlling side?
I don't think she's controlling, but she's definitely overprotective.
Did she ever try to micromanage your life?
Maybe, yeah.
Did she have an interest in who you were dating and who you weren't dating and who you should be dating when you were single?
I think she was usually disappointed that I wasn't dating more.
Get her out on the streets, Harvey. I want her walking the block every night till we have a suitable bachelor.
But you heard Wendi when Georgia goes in even more. Is it fair to say, maybe, I mean, if you think about it, if you're being asked that about your parent and said parent is, they're what? Like they're going to hear it. Were they overprotective? Were they controlling? Were they, overbearing, these things? I mean, that's a pretty extreme thing to say. But it's interesting just to watch how Wendi gets, to me, embarrassed. Like, maybe. And I'm just like, she just doesn't want to say it. Because also she probably sees what happens in her family. And especially with this, where it's such a topsy-turvy thing. Because at the end of the day, what is Wendi trying to do? She's trying to stay out of prison. She was the center of the situation that kind of was able to walk away from it. So she's trying to stay out of prison. So she don't want to tick these people off. All they would have to do is turn on her. So she too is forever indebted to Donna and Charlie. Now let's hear about those old divorce papers and how Wendi went about separating from Dan and what she has to say about it in a couple of different trials.
I honestly don't remember if he got on the next flight, but he did come home quickly.
2:30 he finds out in New York. By 11 p.m. he's walking in the door to your old house at Trescott Drive, right?
I don't know.
But you do know that when he walks in the house, what he finds. You know that, right?
Yes, I left him the papers.
You left the divorce papers on the bed. Right?
Yes.
Half the furniture was gone.
Half the furniture was not gone.
The guy questioning her is so funny to me, like unintentional. I said it unintentionally. Unintentionally funny, because he's like, he's the one we listened to at the beginning. And you walked in the door and what you saw made your mouth drop. It's almost like he speaks in clickbait title. You know what I'm saying? Like how you read a clickbait title is like what this man speaks of. Now you heard Wendi, not half the furniture. Yeah, I had done this. I had already talked to Dan about this. He knew this, he knew that. Here's my thing. If Wendi was in a scenario where she was getting physically harmed by him and basically like look, we got to pack my stuff up. He went on a business trip. It's my life or his. I need somebody here packing my stuff up. We got to get these kids and go. Okay, right? And I can even understand the level of you're having a contentious divorce. What people do what they got to do. But this situation with Dan and the way she went about it was so wild and so angering, and the way that she did it. And we heard evidence from Donna saying, oh yeah, well, we waited till he was getting ready to give a presentation to let him know that she was divorcing him, calling him up on the phone on a business trip. These are just evil, petty things that honestly you expect out of a group of like 9th graders. And these are grown, you know what, adults. Let's listen to the next clip about it.
I believe you said was finalized in 2013, right?
Yes.
You just left your divorce papers on a mattress of Dan Markel in the house and left town. Is that correct?
No.
How is it that you delivered the divorce papers to him?
I called him to let him know that I wanted a divorce. It wasn't the first time I asked for a divorce, but it was the last time. And told him that I would see him when he got home. Not home, but back to Tallahassee. And then I did leave the papers for him, but I didn't leave town. I was still in Tallahassee. So
yes, to answer the question, yes. Now you see how Wendi does this. Now remember, Wendi's an attorney. Wendi is, I would say, probably the most meticulous of the family, it appears. No, I didn't do that. No. Also, notice the difference too. It sounds like this is a female asking her the questions versus the male, right? The male was more like aggressive and all this, and the female was more like, well, you did this, right? But Wendi just had more attitude, more I don't know, it was interesting. But she also didn't seem to do that with Georgia, maybe by the last trial, but maybe in the beginning she did. She would give it to Georgia a little bit. I don't know. Anyways, I just think that part's interesting there. However, you hear Wendi going on, it's just like, well, that is what you did, you know? And again, I can understand on some levels of being like, well, you got to do what you got to do. But I don't think that was the situation. I just think that this was like a psychotic family trying to mess with Dan and obviously ultimately kill him. Now, remember how I talked about Wendi talking about, oh no, I love Tallahassee. It's great. But behind the scenes, people are like, oh, she hated this place. She couldn't wait to leave. I mean, the evidence shows 2 days after Dan's killed, she's gone, right? Never coming back to live, okay? Let's listen to what she says about being stuck in Tallahassee.
Okay, did you view yourself as being stuck here in Tallahassee once the relocation was denied?
I didn't. I mean, I had a really nice life here. I did not view myself as being stuck.
Would you please turn to page 176 in that exhibit in front of you?
Now, in this trial, Charlie's trial, Georgia will call her out and say, read this. And Wendi will say, can I read the entire sentence? And basically the sentence is saying like, okay, with the relocation thing, you know, Wendi's kind of stuck here for now. But the word stuck is used. Now, we also know, again, from evidence shown, coming from her own family members, her ex-boyfriend, Wendi did not like Tallahassee. Wendi hated Tallahassee. Her parents did not want her up there. They wanted to be in South Florida. They wanted the Boca life. Boca. You know, but that's what they wanted. They wanted their kids, their grandkids down there. And Wendi was just going to follow suit, right? So let's listen to one more clip.
Is relocation important to you?
It was, in terms of having a safe and stable place for my kids.
Did you consider having to live here in Tallahassee being stuck? Or had you referred to it previously as being stuck in Tallahassee?
I mean, I may have. The idea of being stuck is if you don't have permission to live anywhere you want to live. But I had a nice quality of life here.
Uh-huh. I'm so sure. Enough to kill over. Great life there you got, Missy. With the statements here, you see the discrepancy here. Like, oh no, you know, I probably did say stuck. So you see where she kind of will admit to some things. Like, yeah, I might have said stuck. I did feel stuck, but you know, I had a nice quality life. Yet we hear from behind the scenes, like Jeff saying she's a hot mess. Like all she talked about is how much she hated Tallahassee. My opinion of Wendi is this is probably what she did throughout her life. Wendi emotionally manipulated people around her. So for example, like let's just say, where is something? I don't know. This, can y'all see this pillow? Yeah. So this leather pillow. If I'm sitting here and like, you know, Donna and Charlie are over here. I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, I hate that leather pillow. I hate that it sits there. It bothers me. It absolutely gets on my nerves. I can't stand it. And like literally we're sitting here, but I'm not doing anything to get rid of the pillow. right? Donna or Charlie would then probably be like this. Like Charlie would be like, well, let me explain this to you, okay? First of all, I'm going to tell you where that leather pillow came from and why you hate it, Wendi, okay? And Donna would be like, mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Charlie. Oh, yeah. Explain it to her. Mansplain her away, Charlie. And they would get up and take the pillow and throw it out the door. And then when he'd be like, oh my God, I feel so much better. But I need another pillow for that space. I'm not going to be able to sleep with there not being a pillow there. Then Donna.
Oh, Wendi, grab your purse. Let's go shopping in Boca.
Okay, that's how I said. So just take that example. That is how I think Wendi's life was. And that's what Donna and Charlie, and probably Harry by extension, but I think definitely Donna, and then by extension of Donna, Charlie, that's what they did, all the way down to, I'm never going to get out of this crappy marriage. Dan is so terrible. Blah, 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 blah. Wendi in her own little podcast said, well, I thought that I could marry someone because I guess like love and passion leaves everything. And he seemed like he'd be a good father and a provider and this and that, like key elements of a partner, right? And I'm not trying to say like you don't want to have that spark there. I mean, trust me, I'm not saying marry for whatever. But the thing she's not off, I'm like, girl, yeah, I mean, these are major components, but if you're not feeling a vibe for him, then why are we here? Well, why are we here is because of Donna, right? That is where it blows my mind with this. So that being said, looking at Wendi over the years and whatnot, and all her testimonies, she is rather consistent, but also somewhat inconsistent with things. Wendi has a story to stick to. The television repairman was this. Oh, well, now this is why he called mom. I have the answer for that now. Nope, the TV broke. And it was, this is what happened. We had to do that. Nope, I had a good life in Tallahassee. No, I had to go get alcohol for the party that night, so I drove that way. I have the receipt from it. There's a reason I went by the crime scene. Everything was tidied up, but also the biggest thing for Wendi that I see is that she wasn't on phone and all this stuff talking about this stuff. Catherine couldn't testify against her, although the one dude, Rivera, in this most recent trial did say he knew it was for Wendi, the hit, right? But what evidence there is of that, I don't know. I think that they could get, so we're kind of turning this to, closing thoughts here about Wendi. I'm not expecting charges at this point. I want to see charges, but I'm not holding my breath. If they could get Charlie or Donna to talk, maybe so. Maybe after Harvey and Donna are no longer of the earth, Charlie might flip on Wendi. The shame of flipping on his sister while they're alive would probably be too much. And I feel like if somebody flips and rats on her, that's how they can get Wendi, but they can't. Now, maybe they have enough. From what I saw from the sofa perspective, I was like, how have they not charged her, right? And maybe they're trying to figure that out, and maybe they just don't have it. With Charlie and Donna, all of the bump, again, if you follow me for a while in this case, the bump is what did it, right? I don't care about the jailhouse informants. I don't care about what any of those people said. The bump is the hard evidence you cannot get around. There is zero reason why Donna should not have called the police when an undercover guy approached her and extorted her for money over the killing of Dan Markel. There's zero reason why his phone number should have traveled all the way down to the hitman and then back up to Donna, okay? Zero reason. It proved the cop's point. Wendi was not involved in that at all. Right? She wasn't in those phone calls. And that's what I think will be her saving grace. Now, I hope to see justice because I think she is just as culpable, again, my opinion, allegedly. That is sofa speculation. So I think she's just as culpable as the others. So we'll see. Again, she's not been charged. She's not been convicted, obviously, because she hasn't been charged. So there's that. I just don't think it's going to happen. And even looking at her testimony, and these are just a few of the questions, right? Looking at the testimony over the years, it's like, yeah, it changes a little bit, but she's sticking to that story. So anyway, that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are. I also would like to hear what you have to say about her confidence level on the stand, right? I think there's a vast difference in that to where by the last trial, she was like, I am very much, but they weren't really, Georgia didn't come at her in Donna's trial the same way, like go back to trial one. You're not seeing that same level of energy. There was a different energy with Donna's trial, I felt. So that's it. I'm getting off my soapbox. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And while you are down there, if you could pretty please drop some sofas. And so we don't have the weird little pillows anymore. Oh my gosh. The old sofa's right there. I might have to get them from there. But anyways, if you could drop some little sofas off in the comment section for myself Roscoe and Spirit, Bo and Luke, who have, I don't know where they are now. They've run off. They're doing their little thing. And you, the Sofa Squad, who makes the channel possible. It wouldn't be here without you. And I greatly appreciate it. And until we gather down in the comment section to do all that stuff, I'll see y'all soon.
I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.
Hey, welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.